for myself, my structure tends to be, okay, I've got an hour to work with this person. I need to look at what their goals are, what kind of physical limitations have they had. Did I notice any asymmetries when I first started working with them, and did a little bit of a screen on them? And so the workout is then kind of structured in that fashion to satisfy what I've determined to be any shortcomings or asymmetries that need to be addressed, things like that. So there's a structure for the client that I kind of try to impose upon them, and there's a structure for myself that I impose upon myself to kind of get that person to what I believe is an optimal kind of training model for themselves.
That's awesome. For somebody who doesn't know what asymmetry means.
Yeah, so asymmetries are if I've got, let's say I'm reaching overhead. I'm not sure how high our cameras go here, so I've got long arms. But if I'm reaching overhead, my right arm is able to get this much motion, my left arm's able to get this much motion in what we call shoulder flexion, then that would be an asymmetry. Right arm's got a good degree of range of motion, left arm's limited. And as I'm doing a movement screen on someone, that would be something that would show up pretty easily.
Okay. What would that have to do with somebody's overall health? Because I know you just mentioned you look at the overall health. Mm-hmm. How would asymmetry or an arm being able to move more one direction than another direction, mm-hmm. what part would that play?
Well, there's a few different reasons that that's important. The first one might be that there's some kind of underlying cause that has created that asymmetry, and we need to figure out what that is and address it. If that's something that is like a muscle imbalance, or if that's a shoulder that's maybe not functioning correctly in terms of like maybe there's a structure in there that's getting in the way. Maybe they've developed something called a lesion on the bone that actually, what the bone basically runs out of room, and as you're reaching up, it's running into that like kind of bony protuberance, that lesion. That's something that potentially needs to be addressed because that can lead to a tear or like tendinitis or a host of other ailments. So that's one approach to take to it. The other approach is just functionality. If someone has a shoulder that is less mobile and they're constantly using that one, there could be an ailment that starts to appear on the right arm because it's getting overused, or it could be that this one continues to worsen because now they're avoiding it. It's just becoming more and more restricted in its movement, depending on what the underlying cause is. And you can take that to any part of the body. If someone has a hip that is maybe underdeveloped in terms of strength on the right side versus the left side, and now I'm kind of leading with my left leg all the time, this leg's continuing to get worse and worse, and now I'm a fall risk potentially. I might not be able to undulate or walk in a way that is kind of conducive to like a healthy spine, or my knees start getting beat up or something like that. And you have this, we call it the kinetic chain, but whatever the weakest link in that chain is, whether it's your lower back or your knees or your foot and ankle, wherever that weak link is where some kind of an ailment will start to rear its ugly head, and that could be plantar fasciitis, or it could be chronic low back pain or herniated disc or something like that.
So it really is kind of anytime there's something going on, that can be an entry point for other things to build upon. So someone like you who has the awareness, you can get in there and see that early enough. Mm-hmm.
And physical therapists are, in my opinion, I've worked with them for so long that I have a great deal of respect for them. They are the ones that are extremely well equipped to identify and evaluate and find those asymmetries. Unfortunately, a lot of the time, they don't get their hands on people until it's truly a problem. Someone has developed low back pain now. It's not something that has been caught by whatever the cause was initially, or someone has developed a frozen shoulder. It's not been addressed because they had a limited range of motion, and it was able to, that person avoided using it and continued to get worse, or what have you. So I think that's where fitness has a good ability to kind of be the first line of defense for that kind of stuff and be very preventative. Make sure that people don't necessarily have to go to physical therapy and pull on their insurance. You can actually be upfront with this kind of stuff and attack it instead of waiting for something to go wrong. You can be a little bit more proactive in conjunction with achieving whatever your health goals are. If that's body fat loss, fantastic. If you're feeling the need to get stronger because you want to be a more avid hiker, or you're wanting to get into running and you're worried about banging up your knees or something like that, a strength program addresses all of those potentially, but also can, in conjunction, kind of address any ailments or asymmetries, like you said, that might be on the way.